महर्षि महेश योगीजीको विश्वव्यापी वैदिक पुनरुत्थानका लागि तयार भएका विविध क्षेत्रहरू छन्। खास गरी 12 पोइन्ट प्रोग्राम भन्नु छ उहाँले, 12 क्षेत्रमा आधारित कार्यक्रमहरू छन्। हामी यो स्पेस 4K टेलिभिजनको माध्यमबाट हरेक सोमबार बेलुका 7 बजेदेखि 8 बजेसम्म यी सबै विधामा क्रमशः प्रचार गर्दै जानेछौँ र यसमा चाहिँ महर्षि विश्वविद्यालय अमेरिका पनि सामेल हुनेछ। महर्षिको यो हेडक्वार्टर इन्टरनेसनल क्यापिटल हल्यान्डको पनि सामेल हुनेछ र नेपालका प्रोग्रामहरू पनि क्रमशः हामी यसमा समावेश गरिरहनेछौँ।
जय गुरुदेव। भद्रं कर्णेर्भिः शृणुयाम देवा भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैतिष्ठुवागुंसस्तनो विर्वसेर्महिदे महितं यदायुः। ॐ स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृतसर्वाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु। ॐ द्योः शान्तिरन्तरिक्षगुं शान्तिः पृथिवी शान्तिरापः शान्तिरोषधयः शान्तिः वनस्पतयः शान्तिर्विश्वे देवाः शान्तिर्ब्रह्म शान्तिः सर्वगुं शान्तिः शान्तिरेव शान्तिः सामा शान्तिरेधि। नेपाल महर्षि वैदिक फाउन्डेसन र स्पेस 4K टेलिभिजनको तत्त्वावधानमा सञ्चालित सनातन सभ्यता कार्यक्रम लिएर हामी उपस्थित भएका छौँ। सनातन सभ्यता कार्यक्रममा वेदभित्रको विज्ञान र ज्ञानलाई हामीले खोतल्ने कार्य गर्दछौँ र प्रस्तुत गर्ने कार्य गर्दछौँ। यो विशेष गरेर नेपालको मात्रै नभएर विश्वकै गतिविधिहरूलाई विहङ्गावलोकन गर्ने दृष्टिकोण रहेको छ यसभित्र र ती विविध गतिविधिहरूमध्ये यहाँ न्यायका कुराहरू रहन्छन्, संस्कृतिका कुराहरू रहन्छन्, त्यस्तै विविध विषयहरू यो भित्र समाविष्ट हुन्छ। वैदिक कृषिसँग पनि हामी अभ्यस्त हुने गर्दछौँ। आजको कार्यक्रममा भने वैदिक वास्तुको विषयलाई लिएका छौँ। अब विशेष गरेर वैदिक वास्तुविज्ञहरूसँग सम्बन्धित रहेर विविध देशहरूमा तयार पारिएको वास्तुसँग सम्बद्ध भएर कार्यक्रमहरू अगाडि बढाउँदाखेरि कस्ता किसिमका नतिजाहरू दिए, ती नतिजाहरूबाट व्यक्तिलाई कस्तो किसिमको भाइब्रेसन ल्याउन सक्यो त। महर्षि महेश योगीले देखाएको बाटो जुन हजारौं वर्ष पछाडिका लागि समेत उपयुक्त हुने किसिमको मार्ग रहेको छ। जब हामी व्यक्ति स्वस्थ रहन चाहन्छौँ, कुनै पनि कार्य गरिरहेको कार्यहरू सफल होस् भन्ने अभिष्ट राखिरहेका हुन्छौँ भने त्यसभित्र हामीले गर्नुपर्ने कार्य भनेको सर्वप्रथम हामी रहन्छ वास्तुलाई हामीले विशेष ख्याल पुर्याउने पर्ने हुन्छ। वास्तुलाई विचार पुर्याउन सकेनौँ भने हामी अप्ठ्यारोमा पर्दछौँ। तसर्थ आर्किटेक्टहरू वैदिक आर्किटेक्टहरूको सल्लाह र सुझावलाई लिएर अगाडि बढ्नुपर्छ भन्ने कुरा नेपाल महर्षि वैदिक फाउन्डेसनले पनि बोकेको छ र महर्षि महेश योगीकै पदचाप पनि हो। र यही विषयलाई हामीले विश्वमा भएका विविध गतिविधिहरू जो वैदिक आर्किटेक्टका आधारमा अथवा वैदिक वास्तुशास्त्रका आधारमा अगाडि बढ्दै गर्दाखेरि सफल भएका विविध उदाहरणहरूलाई आजको कार्यक्रममा हामीले प्रस्तुत गरेका छौँ। जय गुरुदेव।
We're having as we are talking, we're having an Ayurveda conference in Austria at the University of Graz. And they just told us in the Department of Physiology, the professor they had made on their own, they had made a study, and they built one bedroom out of pure wood, only wood, nothing else, including the bed, everything wooden. And then they built another one conventionally, with plaster boards and rock wool insulation and, plastic sheets to stop the vapor barrier and all kinds of layers like this. So it turned out, then they measured the physiological parameters of the people sleeping in such a room and such a room, and they found those who sleep in natural environment, they gained every night, they saved 1 hour of heart activity. It's huge, just by the proper material. Now, we are trying also to make more research in terms of Vastu, because what would it mean if a person is only sleeping in a wooden house compared to an ordinary house, what would it mean if the physiology resonates in total harmony with everything? And that should have an impact on his health and happiness and, his whole performance during the day, and day after day, year after year, for the whole family, the mother, the father, the children, and like that. So we have done research studies, but all the studies are kind of fragmented. So we'll hear about that later, but you will see it is possible to verify the effects and the claims that we are saying, and what I'm saying now in theory, it is possible to verify them. We are using the term Vastu. Nobody really knows what does it mean. It is kind of something the Vedic rishis have discovered, and they have given it to mankind. They formulated the rules and the prescriptions for Vastu living, but what is it actually? We had a conference on physics just 2 weeks ago with a physicist and a quantum physicist, great expert. And they talk about all the aspects of physics and how to build in Vedic architecture. But when you ask him, where is Vastu, they don't find it. Because they say, when we say, is it gravity? No. It's not gravity. Is it one of the fundamental forces? No. Is it black matter or black energy? They say no. We know what black matter, black energy is. It's not Vastu. So how come that the physicists don't find it? Maharishi says Vastu is a great power in nature. When it is a power in nature, why don't they find it? The reason is they don't find it because it is in between. In physics, everything is measured, and known and described. But there is something that is in between. So what is in between is the balancing power and the harmonizing power, which is very important, and that's exactly what we want and what we want to harness. So Maharishi describes it in a simple way. He says, supposedly there's one star, and there's another star. So where the influence of this star is ending and the influence of that star is ending, it comes to a neutral point. In this 0 point sits the balancing intelligence of the universe. If you connect every star to every other star, then you will see that in the space between the stars, it's full of intelligence. So in the Vedic science, the universe is considered as a golden universe because it's full of intelligence, and there are a few specks of matter floating in it. So this is the consciousness approach. Now, as Maharishi says, it is a great power in nature. We want to hear from him the way he sees it. And in a previous press conference, it's on the screen, a reporter from Kent, from the UK, he was referring to a proposal of the government to build a new city in this area, in the southeast of London, for 500,000 homes. And they asked him for advice, how would Maharishi do it? So, Mike, if you click the button, we could hear it.
Maharishi, this question from the United Kingdom from a reporter in Kent. A proposal was announced in the Times in Great Britain yesterday to build a new town in southeast England of 500,000 houses in order to relieve the extreme pressure of housing and congestion in London. The consortium behind the report is asking advice from all quarters on how best to proceed with planning the new city. What advice would Maharishi have for them?
One word, Vastu buildings. Vastu is a system of constructing homes and constructing the villages. This is ancient Vedic architecture. Ancient Vedic architecture, there are rules for it. walls will be the same, the roof will be the same, everything will be the same, except the orientation of the building will be set. One of the features of the building is that the entrance should be in the direction of the rising sun. Rising sun is supposed to be healthiest rays of the sun, healthiest rays of the sun. So the entrance of a home properly in the East is one of the directives of the Vedic architecture, and obviously it makes sense that the entrance should have unobstructed rays of the dawning sun. And there are calculations about it. The total thing, when we consider the Vedic architecture, the total thing amounts to have a connection between the potential of the individual, which is cosmic, unbounded, infinite potential of the individual energy and intelligence, and the individual level of it. So the individual is well connected with the cosmic in its structure. Structurally, from inside, from the field of consciousness, from the field of intelligence, individual is very well connected with the cosmic life. The home of the individual should therefore be in accordance or be in line with the cosmic structure. This is the ultimate picture of the Vedic architecture. Vedic architecture means architecture which takes into account total field of knowledge. And total field of knowledge is that which connects the individual life with cosmic life. So Vedic architecture is helpful for the individual consciousness to be in tune with cosmic consciousness. For the cost of building, it doesn't make any difference. Only the orientation and mathematical calculation, the length of this and the height of this and the how many doors and how many windows and this, it's a very it's supremely intelligence-guided cosmic design. That is Vastu, that is Sthapatya Ved. It's a section of total knowledge of natural law. It's a section of total knowledge of natural law which connects and maintains connectedness of the individual with cosmic life. It's a very beautiful question that was raised. It's such a joy to expound it. Vedic architecture is a Veda in itself. It's a Sthapatya Veda. The Ved, the knowledge of establishing this thing. You establish a thing so that the thing in its isolated boundaries is not dislocated with the unbounded, infinite, boundless value of the universe. Maintains connection of the individual with the universe. This is Vedic view of constructing the building, Vedic view of establishing the cities, like that. It's a very beautiful value of the unseen quality of structuring life. And this unseen quality of structuring life is transcendental value of existence. which is in the field of transcendental consciousness. That is my field, that is my speciality, transcendental experience, and all about transcendental value. So this Vedic architecture also comes within the range of my expertise, and I define this Vedic architecture as the architecture that maintains connectedness of the individual potential with the cosmic potential. And that is why, broadly speaking and finely speaking, individual is cosmic. Individual is cosmic. Vedic value of architecture. It's very beautiful. It's very beautiful.
So that was great. And Mahasi had worked for so many decades with the great existing masters, the Stapadis of India, interviewing them one by one, all the famous ones, to find out what is really the source of Stapatya Ved, of Vastu. And it took some time, and then he looked also into the books, into the Sanskrit books, and the Pandits were reciting to him, and he goes into Samadhi to find out what is the truth behind it, because when there are so many books, and over time things have been lost, and so many compromises have been made, then a revival is necessary. So he undertook that job to revive the ancient knowledge of Stapatya Ved, and as he says, it is a Veda. Veda means knowledge. So we can go to the slides. And Veda means knowledge, and you may have heard about Ayurveda. Ayurveda is the knowledge of life, of the Vedic healthcare system. So Stapatya Veda is also the Veda, but it's the Veda of construction. And we call it, when we speak about it, Stapatya Veda is a difficult term to speak. We call it Vedic architecture in harmony with natural law. It is the same as saying Stapatya Veda. Now, when we look at the words, I'm just explaining the terms, and you see them written also. Stapatya Veda means Vedic architecture, but the Sanskrit term of stapan means to establish. So the syllable sta signifies in all languages that which stands, or sta, which has stability or static. And it is even in the names of countries like Pakistan or Kyrgyzstan, Afghanistan, Kazakhstan, like that, and cities. It's even in real estate in the middle. And the term Veda means knowledge of natural law, but it's holistic knowledge, it's total knowledge, it's not fragmented knowledge, it's a different thing. So the next term, as we have explained, is Vastu. Mahasi says Vastu is a great power in nature. It is that intelligence of natural law which balances and harmonizes any individual structure with the cosmic structure. But in reality, Vastu is invisible, because harmony is invisible, but it's everywhere. It is in between of everything as it balances the opposite values. When there's a balance, it balances the opposite values, and what it creates is peace and harmony. So the effect that Vastu living creates, in Sanskrit it's called Vastu Shanti. Shanti means peace. So it is peaceful living, and that holistic peaceful living, that is what we are after. Now, when Stapatya Veda is the Vedic science of architecture, then Vastu is the Vedic technology of construction. So we can say there are two things. One is the science, one is the technology. And these two terms, they go hand in hand as science and technology of Vedic architecture. So that's why we keep using these two terms. It may be confusing in the beginning, that's why I'm explaining it. The two sides of the same coin. And then here we are showing the Vastu Shastras, the Vedic textbooks in Sanskrit language, and they contain all these descriptions and illustrations, but also these formulas, the architectural formulas of proportions. The books are called Vastu, the Vastu Shastras. The ones we are showing are the main books, which are translated into English. And whatever volume you open, it always starts with the principle of orientation. Now, how in the olden days, how did they determine the exact east or north? They didn't have theodolites, they didn't have compass, how it was done. So they used the sundial. So the sundial means you put a stick, and then you draw a circle around it of twice the height of the stick. The stick is called the shanku, on level ground. And then in the morning you observe when the tip of the shanku is intersecting with the circle and mark it. And then in the evening at sunset time, where the tip of the shanku is intersecting with the circle, and then you draw a straight line. This is almost east-west. So then you repeat it next day, and then there is a difference between the two marks, and that you divide into 3, and then you make the adjustment, and this is perfect. So even the surveyor, a modern surveyor, when we tested it, they come to the conclusion this is the perfect way of doing it. So in this way, they always had the possibility of aligning and verifying and correcting the orientation of their buildings. So as we said, the influence of Vastu connects the individual person with the structure of the home on the left side and makes it resonate with the global structure of the earth, as well as with the cosmic structure of the sun, moon, planets, and stars. Now, the only thing possibly obstructing this flow of wholeness would be if there are any man-made structures which we may have created, which could act as a foreign interface, because we put our human beings, we put them in all kinds of boxes, as John was saying, steel boxes or whatever, styrofoam boxes, and that would then isolate the individual life from the cosmic life. So it is very important to follow these recommendations of the Vedic seers to make the living conditions transparent, so that they do allow the connection to cosmic living, individual living and cosmic living. Now, easily, the strongest power of natural law comes from the sun. As it rises in the east and sets in the west, it generates different energies and different qualities. So on this diagram we show a building that is east-facing, and as the sun is rising in the east, it gives these qualities. It brings the creative energy of the whole day. Whereas when the sun is setting in the west, it signifies the opposite, the sinking quality of natural law. And that is creating all kinds of lacks, as we had explained. And similarly, we have the northern orientation, which is considered positive in terms of growth, whereas the southern direction is the influence of destruction. Now, in terms of orientation, there are recent discoveries in neuroscience that have shown that our brain is highly sensitive to orientation, position, and direction in space. The research has shown that the firing patterns of neurons in the thalamus of the brain are altered by the direction one is facing, and we are currently engaging EEG research that verifies it more with people living in Vastu houses. Now, in 2014, the Nobel Prize in Medicine was awarded for the discovery of cells that constitute something like a GPS positioning system in the brain. There are grid patterns inside the head which generate a coordinate system and allow for more precise positioning and pathfinding, similarly to a grid on a city map. That's what it says in the paper. Now it is important to verify all the subjective experiences of Vastu living, and we had made quite a rigorous quality of life survey which shows that people living in ideal Vastu homes, they're experiencing better health, greater success, and even more happiness for the children, so everybody benefits. But the latest and upcoming research we'll hear later from John Lippmann when he has arrived now, but he will talk a little later. So more and more research is also coming out indicating the healing power of the morning sun. There was a study published in the Journal of Affective Disorders that reports when they were comparing patients assigned to a room in a hospital with eastern or western windows, it means a patient in the bed, he cannot move. He's fixed to that, for 2 weeks or whatever is his hospital stay. He's fixed in this room and this position and the other one in the other one. So they could compare the quality of experience of these two, and they found that those who were living in a room with eastern light every day, they had a mean of 3.67 a day shorter hospital stay, almost 4 days shorter than patients in the western room, which is enormous and very striking. Now the conclusion is that the power of thought, as well as the healthy functioning of the entire physiology, depend upon the direction one is facing, and that one's sense of direction gets confused in daily life when one is living in a building which is not built according to Vastu, resulting in all kinds of physiological, psychological, and behavioral imbalances of all kinds. Now there are two types of orientation, we could say. One is with reference towards the sun, the cosmic structure, and the other one with reference to the global structure of Earth and its poles, the north and south poles. So the geophysicists and also astrophysicists, they have observed that our Earth, the sun and other bodies, they vibrate in a certain way. From seismology, it is known that the Earth and other planets, they vibrate in terms of acoustic and surface gravity waves, which are mathematically quantified, and it's called spherical harmonics. Now, according to spherical harmonics, the globe vibrates in these two directions. One is a zonal direction, from north to south, and the other one is called sectoral, from east to west, following the spin of the Earth. And then in the middle you see the combination of these two as they are merged together. So these different frequencies, they produce a pattern of standing waves which create what is called a tesseract vibrational interference, and that is intersecting at right angles. So that's very interesting because that gives rise to an underlying pattern, and when a building is constructed on this kind of vibrating surface, it automatically becomes a resonator of the underlying waves. Therefore, all buildings should be placed in harmony with this underlying vibrational field, which means they should always be aligned to the cardinal directions in accord with the dynamics of the Earth. So if you don't do it, the building is like a cookie cutter, which you place on top of a vibrational field. So if you put it in harmony, it is aligned, and if you do it, at an angle, then you have all kinds of disturbances around it. It's very striking. So for the design of buildings, in addition to the fundamental orientation principle, Vedic architecture uses quite a number of parameters to make sure that all these effects are optimized. So for example, as we said before, the symmetry. The facade of a building constitute, the word facade means it is the face of the house, and the face is always symmetrical. So it is designed with right and left bilateral symmetry. So here's an example. Alberto designed this house of both of central and lateral symmetry, and the experience of symmetry integrates the brain and creates a very pleasant and satisfying feeling of peace and balance and security. So such structural symmetry is a direct expression of Vastu. It is part of it. Similarly, we could say that all human beings are also designed according to Vastu. And so should be the house in which we are living for the effect of physical and mental integration. It even says, the architect of the universe, he also structured the human body. Now, human physiology is the embodiment of wholeness, and its organs and organ systems have a one-to-one relationship in structure and function to the near and far environment, the sun and moon, planets and stars. So the inner structure of the physiology is a direct expression of consciousness and resonates with the structure of the Veda. For example, the nerves emerging from the spinal column, shown in this picture here, they correspond to the 192 suktas of Rig Veda, which is in its wholeness considered as the constitution of the universe. So Mahasi says, because the individual is cosmic, everything about individual life should be in full harmony with cosmic life. And consciousness, as consciousness gives existence to the body, so the building becomes its extension. It is still a man-made interface between the individual and the cosmos, but Vastu technology makes sure that these man-made structures are transparent and do not block or violate the evolutionary laws of nature. A unique feature of Mahasi Vastu architecture and planning is that this cosmic connection is maintained on a mathematical level. The measurements and proportions of any layout or structure are calculated according to specific formulas, we have explained that, related to the cycles of time and the directions in space. Every part is thus mathematically connected to the whole. The individual design of a house, however, can still take on the local or cultural flair to blend in with the environment. The outer proportions of the Vastu building in terms of length, height, width, and its auspicious dimensions and symmetry are designed and calculated according to cosmic formulas as stated in the Vedic and Sanskrit text. The center point of the building is created by the intersection of the center lines. This becomes the source of radial and lateral symmetry observed in the floor plan. This structural feature is correlated to another phenomenon in nature. The same Vedic rules of placement, proportion, and symmetry are also applied to the layout of rooms, as we had explained, and even orientation of beds and seats, so that natural law is always smiling on every aspect of our activity. So all holistic structures of nature are organized observing the same radial or central symmetry. Here we show an atom. Even an atom has a center point. Or even every cell or flower has a center point which upholds and maintains its structure. And so has the solar system and every galaxy. In consciousness-based, natural law-based architecture, this center point is called the Brahmastan, the place of totality and wholeness. So this Brahmastan is observed, here we show it, whereas the position of the amenities, the kitchen, the living, dining, and the bedrooms, they follow a different rule, because where there is symmetry, there is also symmetry breaking. So the house should be so designed that the different energies of the sun correspond to the specific function and activity for each room, so that natural law always smiles whatever we do during the day. For example, when the sun is high in the sky at midday, the fire in the sky corresponds to the fire in our digestive system, and we get hungry. Therefore, the dining room should be placed correspondingly where the digestion is most stimulated, and the study or home office should be where the intellect is most lively and alert. And the living room should be placed in that position where social life will be more relaxed and fulfilled. But if this order gets confused, one may get hungry in the bedroom, or tired in the kitchen, or angry in the living room, or something like this. So even the furniture is placed according to Vastu. When we are sleeping, we are in a fixed position for 8 hours in the night. So for optimum rest, it's very important to place the beds according to natural law. So in the same way, Vastu architecture gives also directions on how to place the office desk or the best position for cooking in the kitchen or sitting on the dining table or in the living room. So it is actually, these are very simple formulas to transform an ordinary home in an actual generator of peace, happiness, and harmony and coherence. So in Vedic city planning, there are modular elements. The smallest one is the individual building, established in its own Vastu yard, as we are showing here, the smallest unit. The next one is a cluster of Vastus that often correspond to a city block, which is arranged around a common center. We can call this a medium development. And these can be combined into larger units, all composed of medium sizes, which could then grow and become a macro field of urban development, which is like a town or a city, like this. So quite a number of configurations can be achieved with varying degrees of density and building types, and the modular system allows for adjustment and fine-tuning of the master plan over time. So this is a diagram which shows that the roads of a city are leading north, south, and east, west, and then they are creating automatically lots that allow buildings to have perfect orientation and alignment, which is the basis of coherence in the city development. This coherence in the built environment can have a very powerful, even life-transforming effect on everyone in society, and is best explained by the Meissner effect of quantum physics. So the Meissner effect demonstrates that the inner coherence and harmony of a system expels disturbing outer influences. So the diagram shows that the influence of a magnetic field on the left is penetrating an ordinary conductor, but flowing around and not harming a coherently structured superconductor. So it flows around as if there is a shield around the superconductor, and the shield is the coherence that repels the disorder. So similarly, a coherent Vastu city could be compared to the coherent structure of a superconductor. That's on the right side. And which is in contrast to the random and chaotic layout of an ordinary city, which has no defense to outer destructive influences. This explains how coherence generated by an ideal Vastu can create an invisible protection, which has been observed, and people call it, actually they call it their Vastu shield. So this Vastu shield effect is not an imaginary effect, because it has been observed quite often, quite a couple of times. Now on the announcement page for this conference, Barry Sher, the author of the book Enlightened Real Estate, he posted this statement asking, what if every city, town and community was redesigned to make everyone's daily routine effortless and blissful? So in theory, any existing city or town can, in a systematic and practical manner, be reconstructed. Suppose in 4 stages. Now here's phase 1. It aims at controlling the expansion of the city by establishing a master plan with parallel roads in east-west and north-south direction. Then in phase 2, we could mark the beginning of construction of more ideal villages or Vastu satellite towns, however we call it, around the city, according to the new master plan, which would then be free from pollution, noise and stress, and set nicely in landscape gardens. Phase 3 then gradually, we are starting to demolish the congested city centers, replacing it with beautiful central parks, so that the city can breathe again, and a walking environment connected to commercial areas and community facilities. So phase 4 now shows the final stage of such a revitalized, we call it garden city, which will be anciently designed according to Vastu, but as a smart city, most modernly equipped, contributing to a more coherent collective consciousness with greater harmony, bliss, and an atmosphere that minimizes problems and maximizes success. So with a state-of-the-art infrastructure, with mixed-use walking environments and convenient transportation system, natural and non-toxic building materials, which is energy efficient and has the use of sustainable utility systems, including solar panel energy, integrated waste management, and other such cost-effective, self-sufficient, non-polluting technologies. Now, in the next section, we would like to show a few examples of projects which we have done and which illustrate something in our Vastu planning. So here's an example of a garden city development. It's located in the border forest between Holland and Germany. It is actually the Meru campus from where we are coming and where we have our offices. And here we want to explain how to handle an odd-shaped lot. Here it is a forest clearing, and the first step was to establish the largest possible square on the land, and then develop the system of roads and subdivisions from that, which could then continue even outside the original square, as you can see, to make use of the whole land. So then this whole area has a mix of institutional and residential buildings. It has gardens and meeting spaces, even a public exhibition tower and pavilions in the forest park. It is already promoted by the Dutch authorities as a Vedic lifestyle center and marketed under the theme of spiritual tourism. So here's another original layout which Richard had done. I'm sure Richard will show his new and more expanded layout, but I like this one because it shows all the features of a millennium lifestyle community, and especially because this one has received the Excellence in Master Planning Award from the Treasure Coast chapter of the American Institute of Architects. So I'm sure Richard would not tell us this, so I'm very happy to mention that. Award-winning design. And here's something from Alberto, but it's also an example of an 8-hectare mixed-use eco-village in the Netherlands. And it is interesting because here again the development is wedged in an existing city plan where the roads are off the grid. So this does not work so well for Vastu architecture. It needed a creative solution, which Alberto managed, and he maintained the proper orientation of buildings and main roads by inventing this kind of lotus-shaped recreational parcours of green spaces as a softening interface between the different infrastructure systems. And in this way, we got the approval from the city council, even with great applause. They were really amazed about this creative solution which Alberto found. Now, this is a model here of an agricultural village which we designed for the government of Zambia. It displays as a model the 4 different types of Vastu houses: the 1-unit house, the 2-unit, the L-shaped building, the 3-unit U-shaped building, and the full 4-unit atrium house, which they consider ideal for multi-generational living. It's called a 4-generation house, 4 generations under one roof. Now here's an example of a master plan for an Ayurvedic clinic and a college with seminar buildings. It's located in Austria in an area where there is a hot mineral water underneath, which could be used for the bathrooms, for the clinics, but also for heating and cooling. It's amazing. So this is the model of it. And behind it is the largest forest in Europe. It has a very gentle slope, so that every room and window has a perfect exposure to the healthy rays of the rising sun. So here's a Vastu design for the Center of Integrated Medicine. It is composed of several wings forming 4 garden courtyards, and they're all planted with medicinal herbs and healing plants. And the medicinal gardens, they even continue inside with a central, you can see a glass central arboretum, and planted hallways. And here similarly in this Forest Academy and Health Center in Nasu in Japan, which is the same area where the Emperor of Japan has his summer palace, and this is built in traditional Japanese architecture and composed of different wings, you can see from above. And these different buildings are following the rules of Vastu, and they're connected to each other by covered walkways and verandas, which are carefully arranged in such a way around the courtyard, central courtyard, and in that courtyard there is a small Shinto shrine according to their tradition. Now, over time, we have developed a portfolio of about 100 Vastu homes of different sizes, and our architects and Vastu consultants work in many countries, usually adopting the local styles and traditions. So we are showing now a few examples. This one is called the Chiara. It's a 140 square meter bungalow type of building with 2 bedrooms, bathrooms, living, dining, kitchen, and a study. This one is more Mediterranean type. It's called the Tessin. Christian designed that. This one is called the Oslo. We started giving city names to our buildings, of 250 square meters, has 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and everything else. This one is called the Zurich, also by Christian. It's the first prototype of this version, and it's built in Switzerland, situated above Lake Zurich, so we call it Zurich. Now here's a wooden house in Finland, designed by Wojtek. It's called the Lati. And Wojtek has designed it, and I think he liked it so much he moved into it. And here's a country home in Italy near Milano. It's completely different style, very nice. And here's a family home in Erfurt, Germany. It looks quite German, I must say, and Christian designed it. But look, the beautiful sun window on the upper floor, the whole gable is glassed in. And then this one is a spacious villa in Spain, the home of Raja Antonio, I think also designed by Alberto. And here another one in Turkey, also from Alberto. It's a traditional Turkish style, you know, wooden and cantilevering and beautiful, very nice house. And here's one from Wojtek, a wooden house in Russia, like that. So we do everything. And here's a VIP residence in Malaysia. I think Christian designed it. It almost looks like master builder system applied for the porches. And then later Christian designed also for the same owner the Peace Palace in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. Now here's a mansion in South Africa. And finally an award-winning bungalow at the Gold Coast near Sydney in Australia. Now we're coming to the end. We had a sequence of Vastu developer conferences like this. The first one was last year in Orlando. It was aimed at the US real estate market. Then the next one was in continuation. The next one was held in Washington area, I must say. And this is a LEED Platinum certified most healthy Vastu office building built by Jeffrey Abramson. We are going to hear from him. And it gave a direct taste of proper Vastu to the participants of the conference. So then from then on we decided, okay, we only hold conferences like this in real good Vastu buildings. So this is now the third conference today. And in this Grand Peace Palace, we have explained so much about it. And the next one will be in Istanbul, in the newly inaugurated Peace Palace. It'll be probably in spring, maybe April or March. And that's aimed at the developers of the Middle East. And then from then on, we propose to hold more corporate workshop sessions in any other location upon request, because then we have covered most of the continents. Another one could be in the southeast in Thailand, probably. So in these conferences, we want to explore how to create ideal living conditions, possibly in the vicinity of every larger town, combining the harmony of Vastu building with everything that the next generation group may want. All these things: healthy diet, a daily routine with wellness, yoga and meditation, but also with the necessary commercial, educational and work facilities. Everything set in a friendly walking environment, and thus presenting a model for a new Vedic lifestyle system. So recently we found that Ayurveda and Sthapatya Veda are coming together very nicely. So we had the presentation at the International Ayurveda Congress in Rio de Janeiro. There were 5,000 participants. And it was held under the umbrella of both the health ministries of Brazil and India. And after that, we must say, we inaugurated the Ayurveda Innovation Center in Switzerland. It's a great building, and again, this team is bringing Ayurveda and Sthapatya Veda together in one project. We want to continue on that level. Because it says in the main textbooks of Ayurveda, the Bhagavad, that one should not even live one day in a house that is not according to Vastu. So finally, we are happy to say that all our buildings are Vastu certified and designed by specially trained architects who have received a postgraduate degree in Vastu Architecture from Maharishi Vedic University. Then our website is an international portal on Vastu Architecture. It's translated in 8 languages. If you just click on the flag, you have your own language. And we have publications, our publications on Maharishi Vastu. They are available online in the Amazon bookstore. I hope you have some here, yes. So you'll enjoy that. And in addition, we have established an Institute of Vedic Architecture and City Planning at Maharishi University of Management, which has a large section on scientific research and publications, and there's an international advisory board from all continents. So it's really a global institution, and we had founded it because we had projects with the United Nations and some governments, and we needed to have a scientific institution backing up this knowledge.
हामी पूर्वीय धरातलमा उभिएका छौं। पूर्वीय धरातलमा उभिनु एउटा आफैमा गर्वको विषय हो। हाम्रो एउटा सम्प्रदाय भित्र हामी आबद्ध रहेका छौं, तथापि यसले विश्वलाई नै अँगालिरहेको छ, विश्वलाई नै नेतृत्व गर्नुपर्दछ भन्ने किसिमका धारणाहरू राखेको छ। चाहे गीतामा होस्, चाहे अन्य उपनिषदहरूमा होस्, वेदमा होस्, हरेक क्षेत्रमा हाम्रो भूमिको, यस भूमिको उल्लेख भएको छ। तसर्थ वैज्ञानिक अथवा पछिल्लो समय विभिन्न आर्किटेक्ट, वास्तुविज्ञहरूले पनि यस कुरालाई अवलम्बन गरेको हामीले देखिरहेका छौं। तसर्थ यस पावन भूमिमा उभिँदै रहँदाखेरि विश्वका पश्चिमा मुलुक, पूर्वीय मुलुक, विविध मुलुकहरूले के कसरी वास्तुको विषयलाई अवलम्बन गरिरहेका छन् त, कसरी अगाडि बढ्दाखेरि जीवनमा सफल हुन सकिदो रहेछ त, यी विविध विषयहरूका बारेमा तपाईहरुलाई हामीले अभ्यस्त बनाउने कार्य गर्यौं, जोसँग सम्बद्ध रहेर महर्षि महेश योगीको विचारलाई, दृष्टिकोणलाई पनि आजको कार्यक्रममा हामीले प्रस्तुत गर्यौं। दर्शकबिन, पक्कै पनि व्यक्ति सफल हुनका लागि, उसको सोचाइलाई सकारात्मक ल्याउनका लागि, उसले गरेका निर्णयहरू अर्थपूर्ण बनाउनका लागि र हरेक तह र तबकामा रहेका व्यक्तिहरूले माथिल्लो तहमा पुग्नका लागि एउटा महत्त्वपूर्ण कुनै पनि उपाय रहन्छ भने त्यो वास्तुशास्त्र हो, वास्तुविज्ञान हो, विज्ञान हो। तसर्थ वास्तु विज्ञानलाई छोडेर हामी कहिल्यै पनि अगाडि बढ्न सक्दैनौं। यो सनातन सभ्यता हो, वीरले देखाएको मार्ग हो, महर्षि महेश योगीले देखाएको पदचाप हो। तसर्थ महर्षि महेश योगीको पदचापलाई अवलम्बन गरेर व्यक्तिहरू अगाडि बढ्न सक्यौं र वास्तुलाई वास्तवमै यो साइन्टिफिक विषय हो, विज्ञान सम्मत विषय हो, यसलाई हामीले अवलम्बन गरेर अगाडि बढ्न सक्यौं भने जीवन, हरेक व्यक्तिको जीवनमा सम्पन्न हुन्छ, अर्थपूर्ण रहन्छ। त्यति मात्र होइन, समाजलाई सभ्य, भव्य र सुव्यवस्थित बनाउन सक्छौं र विभिन्न किसिमका हत्या, हिंसा र आतंकहरूलाई पनि रोक्न सक्दछौं। तसर्थ हामीले गराउने घर, वास्तु, विभिन्न किसिमका कार्यालय, अफिसहरू यी कुन किसिमका छन् त, कुन मापदण्डलाई अवलम्बन गरेर हामीले अगाडि बढाउन सकिरहेका छौं, अथवा कुन मापदण्ड अपनाउनु पर्ने आवश्यकता देखिएको छ, कुन डिरेक्सनमा कुन विषयवस्तुलाई हामीले विन्यस्त गर्नुपर्छ अर्थात् राख्नुपर्दछ, यी कुराहरूमा अभ्यस्त भएर अथवा विचार पुर्याएर अगाडि बढ्न सकेको खण्डमा अवश्यमेव हरेकको जीवन सफलीभूत हुन्छ। विश्वकै मुहार हँसाउन सक्ने सामर्थ्य नेपाल महर्षि वैदिक फाउन्डेसनले बोकेको छ। जसरी महर्षि महेश योगीले विश्वको यदि कसैले नेतृत्व गर्छ भने नेपालले गर्छ भन्नुभएको छ, तसर्थ हामी पनि त्यही पदचापलाई अगाडि बढ्ने कोसिस गर्न सक्यौं भने जीवनमा सफल हुन्छौं। तसर्थ वास्तुविज्ञ अथवा वास्तुविज्ञान एउटा महत्त्वपूर्ण पाटो हो। यो विद्या र विज्ञानलाई जीवनको महत्त्वपूर्ण पाटो सम्झेर अगाडि बढ्नुहुनेछ। सबैको जीवन सुखमय रहोस्, अत्यन्त अर्थपूर्ण तरिकाले व्यतीत होस्, सुख, शान्ति र समृद्धिका लागि वास्तु विषयलाई अपनाउन सकौं। जय गुरुदेव। हामी विशेष गरेर यी विविध श्रृङ्खलाहरू लिएर नवीन श्रृङ्खलामा पनि पक्कै पनि आउने रहेछौं। तबसम्मका लागि प्राविधिक कक्षका मित्रहरू र नेपाल महर्षि वैदिक फाउन्डेसनसँग सम्बद्ध रहनुहुने विशिष्ट व्यक्तिहरूमा जय गुरुदेव भन्न चाहन्छु। जय गुरुदेव।